That's okay. I hope you have questions. Would I do this for loss and mourning? Not specifically for loss. This particular pattern, I want to revive someone. I want to get their energy flowing again. I want them to reconnect with heaven and earth, basically. To reboot them, in a sense. But for loss, usually you look at the metal element and the window of the sky point lung 3, the point that's about here. If I were to stick my arm out where my nose hits, right? Can I inhale myself? Am I comfortable with who I am, right? This is a point that deals with loss. It deals with mourning, sadness, and forgiveness, self-forgiveness. So that's where I would go, and I'd probably do another lung point, lung 7, which is a releasing point, and also a point that deals with the conception vessel and bonding. I have to bond with myself again to deal with my loss. So that, yeah, yes.
Can you talk about non-interference and interference, like when you're asking or praying for somebody or something to help you? What is that in Taoism? What is that other thing, that other energy? Is it like a parallel dimension in the blueprints of souls, or what is that?
Oh, that's a good question. We have, the question was, when you're lost and you want guidance, where does that come from? Does it come from a parallel dimension? What is that, right? And the Taoists talk about 3 hun, or 3 sets of guides. The guide that's closest to you is, you might call it the aura. This is the realm of ghosts. From our perspective, Pa is that soul of the body. So this is something that is that dimension that then just a little bit beyond yin and yang, but close to yin and yang. Right? So in other words, this is the one dimension removed from the physical realm. Right? The next level out, and there are different names for this. In terms of looking at crystals, for instance, this is the crystal realm, by the way. The cinnabar realm is the next realm, or this is the grand purity, and then the upper purity. So these are different auras around us that originally shamans had to transform their consciousness to get in touch with this energy. But after Lao Tzu, after Confucius, after the great saints and sages of Chinese medicine enlightened us, they said these are available to anyone if they can just evolve in their consciousness. Right? The next level is the Hun level. I don't know if that's what you call the astral plane, but this would be the library of all of your past lives, the collective consciousness of all of your past lives. Right? So one is sort of disembodied ghosts, but also things that you can just pick up vibrationally. The Hun level is your collective consciousness of past lives. And then the Shen level is the true spiritual, for lack of a better word, the true spiritual plane. It is all that, Lazarus says, it is all that is. Mother, Father, God, however you want to describe, but something that is all pervasive, includes everything, right? So this, and this is the jade purity, the jade level here. So let's say crystal, cinnabar, and jade. Okay. So this is where that help would be coming from. These are the levels that. So are these separate entities outside you? Is this just part of your higher self? The Chinese don't care about that. You know, are you possessed by a ghost, a demon? Are you psychologically impaired? They don't care. It's the same result. Is it an internal demon? Is it an external demon? Why argue? You know.
Translated as an angel as well in Christianity.
That the actual word ling, which I've translated as soul, I believe also can be translated as spirit guide. And it has a cloud on top. It's got 3 mouths, or 3 openings, and then it's got the character for shaman underneath. And shaman are people who connect heaven and earth together, right? So heaven, the cloud above heaven, is talking to us through some kind of openings. Some would say maybe this is your eyes, your ears, your nose, maybe the senses. Other people would say by sweating, by purging, by cleansing the body, I am preparing myself to deal with these energies. Okay, but so this is Ling, and this is the same as Rei of Reiki. So Reiki in Japanese is Ling Chi. And they would translate that as universal energy. And I just think that's a lousy translation. You know what I mean? I think it's a very limited translation. Okay? So I believe in characters, and I believe when you look at pictures, an image comes to you, and then you have to interpret that image. I can't tell you what that is. I can give you my interpretation. But, you know, Chinese characters are ideograms, pictograms. They're drawings. And the same way you can't say what a poem means, it's your interpretation of a poem or your interpretation of art. So I give you the best that I know of, but you know. Anyway, it's almost like when you channel, does that channel information come outside you, or is it coming from your inner voice, your higher self? Again, the Chinese don't care. You know. Who cares? Is it outside you? Is it inside you? You're getting that message. Right? So they're not involved in that debate. Chinese believe in ghosts. They believe in ghosts, but they don't have a problem with saying that's a psychological condition. That's an internal demon versus an external demon. They won't get involved in that argument. I guess because they've been arguing it for a long time. Okay, anything else before we have a few minutes left? Yes?
Where's P9?
Tip of the middle finger.
Also, would you use month 3 and month 7 the same way as for someone who had interrupted bonding? Say they were taken away from their parents at infancy or something like that?
So what is your level of understanding?
No. Psychologically more, but acupuncture.
From an acupuncture perspective, we talk about the conception vessel, which is the vessel in the front of the body, and that's the vessel of bonding. There is a prenatal vessel of bonding in the last trimester that takes place, but once the baby's born, the bonding is coming from actually the stomach channel on the face, which the conception vessel comes up like this, circles the mouth, and goes to the eyes. Right? So we say that the conception vessel bonds with the baby, and the baby bonds with the mother through the sensory orifices that are regulated by the stomach channel on the face. Right? So if I want to rebond someone, I'm going to use the conception vessel and then another one of the 8 extraordinary vessels. They're not the 12 regular vessels. They're the ones that predate or they deal with Jing and essence, whereas the regular meridians deal with Qi. So they're deeper, they're more fundamental, and bonding is a huge issue. Yeah. Yeah. Something else?
One next question.
Yeah.
What does the
best treatment for a woman that her husband cheating on her after, let's say, 17 years?
Husbandectomy. Husbandectomy.
No, really.
Oh, no.
No, really. And then he came and confessed.
What is the best treatment, and I'm very hesitant to say what the best treatment is, what is the best treatment for a woman whose husband is cheating on her?
And then he came and confessed.
He came and confessed.
And then he started manifesting rash from
Who has the rash?
the woman.
The woman, okay.
So from when 17 and it radiates, it's like the day after he confessed.
Okay.
And then it radiates to the whole trunk, arm, abdomen, and the whole leg.
Okay, so essentially there's a rash that happened after the husband confessed that went down the trunk of the body and then down the legs and arms?
Everywhere.
Yeah, I think this one is not bad here. Yeah. So weariness here, you're pulling heat. This is the fire point on the pericardium channel. You're pulling heat out, right? And heat in the blood, right? So this is something that is,
Heart, right?
I'm sorry?
Liver involved.
I'm sure there's some liver blood involved here, but let's just say the pericardium 8 is going to release this heat. Kidney 1 is more for damp heat in the lower jiao. That's one of the uses of that. But I think this is actually an excellent one. You might include the vertex point 220 on this one. But maybe just stay with this. This is a very powerful treatment to pull things out. Right? But then, the next thing is that this person needs to decide, is this a toxic relationship or not?
Actually, I told her the same thing, and I just saw her once.
Mm-hmm.
So she's coming tomorrow.
Coming tomorrow? Yeah. Well, remember.
Mostly heart.
Yeah.
Like heart 4, and so only few points.
So we didn't talk about that, but heart 4, Ling Dao, the way of the soul. That's a nice choice.
So and then he burst to the tear, like crying and crying and crying.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I told her, why you're punishing yourself for somebody else's action? And you have to realize that you're precious to the person.
Right.
And
So there are self-esteem issues here, right?
Yeah. I mean, she's a psychologist herself. And so anyway, she went to very, very deep relaxation, and she didn't want to leave, because she's suffering for
Right.
months.
Can everybody hear? No? Okay, so this woman is a psychologist. She got good relief from the treatment and actually didn't want to leave. Okay?
Yeah. But I was thinking, actually she went to a few other acupuncturists, and they start trying to give her treatment for a skin condition.
Right.
But to me, definitely it was emotion and, like Shen and all those
Sure.
things.
So she's saying that she went to other acupuncturists who were trying to relieve the skin problem. And obviously her perception is that it's a much deeper issue.
Yeah, so I was thinking that she's coming tomorrow, and since I'm here, that's why I brought up this question.
Yeah. Let's also remember Du20 is said to treat the 5 Shen. So that means the Hun, the Pa, the Shen, spleen Yi or the mind, and kidney Zhi or will. Right? So, maybe Du20 is involved in this as well. But this kind of brings us to a certain issue now. It's not for us to tell our patients what to do, right? Our job is to get them to some kind of state of clarity to make their own decisions. And our job is to support them in that process. And you never tell someone, stay in this relationship, leave this relationship. You just want to support their process. Okay, it's very dangerous we don't want to create dependency situations. And it happens no matter what, right? The therapist, you always get that transference where the patient feels like the therapist is, they need the therapist. They can't do without the therapist, right? And you've guided them. But ultimately, you want to be sure that they can make decisions on their own and that they're self-empowered, right? So kind of like if you're a good parent, you've raised a child that wants to leave you, you know, as difficult as that is. And the same thing that, you know, it's fine to keep helping someone, but they shouldn't feel, you know, addicted, or they shouldn't feel that they can't do without you. Right? So your job is to create some kind of independence. And they come because they want to come, but not because they desperately feel like they can't do it without you. Right?
Thank you.
Okay, yes?
I just had a question about P9. You were saying about...
P9, it sounds so weird. Pericardium 9, yeah.
You were saying if,
Bingo, yeah. Go.
if you're not expressing your true, like your blueprint or your true...
Right.
What you believe in.
Right.
Can it, and so you're saying maybe if somebody is like aching, that could be the possibility. Right? If I feel a sharp sensation, could it be the opposite as well? Do you feel those type of sensations in channels with anything actually? Could it be...
What's the opposite?
The opposite would be that you are fulfilling your destiny and your blueprint.
It wouldn't be pain then. You would have a sensation of maybe pulsating, tingling. Pain is an indication of a blockage. Pain implies that something is not moving in a fluid or smooth manner. So it shouldn't be painful. Life is about movement. Qi and blood are always moving. And you know, we experience irritation when we're not moving. Right? If you sit too long, you feel a little irritable. If you're in a traffic jam, you're irritable. If you're waiting online in the supermarket, you're irritable, right? So some part of you expects a smooth flow of qi. Within your body, we call it the liver energy wants to do that, within the vital organs. But outside, the liver wants a smooth flow of energy between you and your universe, right? So naturally, so liver, when it's pent up, it gets irritable, it gets angry, it gets frustrated. So that's where anger is associated with the liver. So usually, when you have stagnation, there's irritability and anger, and then pain. If you express it, you can vent it. If you don't express it, you swallow it. But even, you know, the idea, the liver opens to the eyes, and we can say that you can hurt someone by looking at them the wrong way. You know, the comic books have the daggers coming out of the eyes, the arrows coming out, and there is something to that. There's the evil eye or something to that effect. You can harm a person's shen by directing malevolence through the eyes. Certainly, obviously, parents can do that to kids. You know. Okay, I think do we have closure? Anything else that we need to do? Thank you.